On this almost deserted stretch of coastline, hidden is an underwater and thriving forest. Giant plants keep growing, extend towards the sun. This is kelp. They grow densely, forming the golden forests of Africa. This forest shelter unique and rare marine life. You could say, it is the backbone of the frigid ocean that surrounds the southern tip of Africa. This fragile forest, it is one of the most productive ecosystems on Earth. All life that lives here on the coast are closely related to these giant plants. In deeper waters, kelp is down, but the rock structure is still alive and well. There is no swaying of kelp, but detritus from the forest provides a food source for many organisms. Every year, it produces about 6 times its own weight in waste. These organisms are released into the oceans and coasts, become the nourishment of other life. In fact, this vast marine forest, feeding life along the entire coastline, the waves will wash large amounts of kelp ashore, become the lifeblood of many species on this cold coast. These beaches look empty during the day. Only strange piles of sand hint at what's hidden underground. In fact, these beaches are scavengers' playgrounds. They are waiting now. Waiting for the sun to set. The tide goes out. Low tide. Under infrared. An army surfaced. They're the beach cleanup crew. Giant isopod. They appear en masse, fast flocking to the beach. Because foraging only lasts about an hour. Once it appears, no longer afraid of light. Crazy search for something to eat. Their favorite is rotten kelp. This algae is washed up at high tide. After about a week, leaves soften, just right for them to feast on. Giant isopods will accurately measure, calculate the time and choose to leave a cave at low tide. Avoid being swept away by the waves. They also have a biological clock inside them. Will automatically correct for a tidal delay of approximately 50 minutes per day. Make sure you get to the beach on time. Kelp is not their only food. Dead seals and even whales. They also decompose and clean up. After an hour of frantic foraging, they will retreat neatly. Collective disappearance under the sand. The next morning, the tide brings a new batch of kelp again. Every incoming plant is carefully inspected. See if there is any edible part. Sand shrimp on these fresh and hearty gifts. Feast on it. On a higher beach, a layer of dried kelp, concealing the delicate layer of African black mother jade. Blue birds take turns guarding. Protect eggs from cold winds and flying sand. And this food chain extends from the golden forest. Also fed seagulls with good table manners. They just have to wait. Just keep an eye on the prey that keeps jumping out. Under a swaying kelp forest, many fish have evolved excellent camouflage techniques. They even mimic the swings of seaweed to hide themselves. Just like land forests have keystone species. Under the sea, In the Golden Forest, there are also central players who dominate the ecological balance. One of them is sea urchins, a walking armor full of spikes. The other is abalone. They're large mollusks. Feeds mainly on floating seaweed and kelp leaves. They lift part of their shell and foot, clamp the algae firmly. Abalone grow slowly. They can't reproduce until they're 8. Once you grow up, you can survive safely under the protection of kelp. In a calm and dark environment, these giant conch will start laying eggs. A small number of eggs float in the water. Indicates that some females have started to release. Then the male releases a large amount of sperm. The child dyes the surrounding seawater milky white. The presence of sperm in water stimulates females into a state of full reproduction. They start to contract multiple times. Spray a large number of eggs waiting for fertilization. Millions of eggs are released within minutes. The whole process was short and quick, but only a very few managed to grow up in the end. Abalone larvae are very fragile, can only swim briefly in the water. Then they must land on a rocky surface, looking for a specific hard coral algae as an attachment point. Once attached successfully, they turn into baby abalone. And then we're looking for a nanny full of spikes, a sea urchin. This spiky fortress of activity, it not only protects the fragile abalone, also brings free food. This symbiotic relationship is the key to the survival of abalone larvae in the Golden Forest. But the forest floor, in fact, the flaming lobster is controlled by another thorn. It's a ferocious predator. Sharp pliers can tear through almost any protection. Not even the hard shell of a sea urchin can stop it. However, in this forest, everything requires a delicate balance. Too much salt lobster, sea urchins and baby abalone will be eaten up. Too many sea urchins, they eat up baby kelp on rocks. This prevents new kelp from growing. Now the abalone population is declining dramatically, on the brink of extinction. This crisis has nothing to do with natural predators. Abalone is a true human delicacy, especially in Asia. High market demand. It led to rampant illegal fishing. If things don't change, this mollusk, it could disappear completely within a few decades, because they grow slowly, and it requires a sufficient number of adults to maintain normal reproduction. But it doesn't stop there. Large predatory fish are being overfished. Life is now very rare in this forest. Fish in the Golden Forest, particularly sensitive to environmental changes. The reason is simple. Their range of activities is very limited. It's an endemic species, can only live in a specific small area. They live a long time. It's hermaphrodite. Lifespan can exceed 30 years.